Here we have a 2016 on a 16 registration. Mercedes-Benz Atego 1524L, Unvi Touring GT, 37-seat executive midi coach. So, the distinctive grey and pink livery tells us we're in Leicester at Austin Clark Travel, looking at this largest of the Unvi range, built on Atego chassis, a Touring GT. Always been a fan, gotta say, always been a fan of Unvi products. I just think they look good, they're well finished inside, well built, and this one's no exception. Couple of little marks which will be tidied up prior to sale, such as that there. We have got wheel trims fitted, nut rings at the front. Rear continental doors also fitted. Again, just a little bit of pain there. Nothing horrible, just irritating really more than anything, but we all know these things happen. Reverse cameras fitted, and then a very, very, very large luggage compartment at the rear. Okay, you ain't gonna struggle in there. Again, little nick, it's every corner really, but as I said, it all tidies up, and if it's all on the pink, you're just painting the stripe, aren't you? Decent sized side locker as well for putting all your bits and bobs in. That's the worst of it. Again, it can all be mended. And then we've got this plug door at the front, and then this puts a lot of people off this product. I don't know why, because you have to circumnavigate the engine to get on. But listen, we did on bed for Vals and Vams, so you know, and there's a reason for this, right? If they put the door, one, passengers get on by the driver, which passengers like. If they put the door here, it will be a very narrow, straight, steep staircase because of the height of the vehicle. That would put people off. These are quite shallow steps. Lots of handrails there, there. You know, there's lots to hold on to on your way up. So they actually look worse than they are, if I'm being honest. So once we get on board, we've got 37 reclining seats. They're fitted with 3-point seat belts, trimmed in this grey and black two-tone leather, which gives it a corporate feel with the dark curtains. Seats are in good condition for their age. You know, they're starting to show a bit of wear there, but you can feed that and soften it up, to be honest. They've got the Mert badge there to remind people what they're travelling on. Then we've got this rear floor mounted toilet with hot drinks facility and top loading fridge, so all the toys at the back. We've also got trays to the seat backs. Sadly, we have a couple of blown double glaze units, one there and one near the front. But what I thought with this, particularly, it's got the wood effect laminate to the floor. Put a nice new carpet down the middle. You could throw a couple of tables in here and make it like 30 seats corporate, couldn't you? Just an idea. I'm just thinking, you know, with having the two-tone leather in black and grey and the toilet and the drinks and everything, it gives you an option. That's the other blown double glaze unit there. So sadly, a couple of them. Down at the business end, I've got to point this out. That screen up there is cracked. Look, it's not in the line of vision. And if you pull that blind up there, covers it up, nobody will ever know. However, you may want it changing. That's how it is. We're wired for DVD. We've got one drop-down monitor there at the front. Dash is all in good order, as you can see. Multifunction steering wheel. What we are going to discuss is that thing there with the numbers on it. For those who don't know, that is a gear stick. Okay, you change gear with it. Now, joking apart, getting onto driveline, it's a Euro 6 240 brake horsepower Mercedes engine. It's driven through a 6-speed manual gearbox. That's a good thing. Okay, a lot of you'll go, ooh, bloody manual, you know. Honestly, if anybody has driven an Atego with the PowerShift 3 gearbox on, unless you are used to driving it, right, you'll feel like a nodding dog. And your passengers will, because people tend to put the foot down. You've got to like get the weighting right on the pedal to get smooth gear changes. Not an issue with a gearbox. You'll get a smoother gear change, a smoother ride, and you can keep the engine revs low when you're in control. For me, that is a big bonus. Now, the other thing you got to think about is, you know, what's your alternative? Right, most people today will go for a Yutong TC9, Thames or MD9. Rear engine, great. Quieter, they're a proper little coach, but they're no different seat-wise to these. Okay. The toilet's in the same position as these. Okay. But the difference with this is you'll easily get 37 suitcases in the boot. You may struggle on one of the previous mentioned models, and this will do double the MPG, so you're going to be using half the fuel. So if you're buying a vehicle with your head, this is the vehicle. If you're buying a vehicle with your heart, I've told you what you need to buy. So for me, there's a lot of plus points on one of these over a little coach. There's negatives as well, but there's pluses and negatives with every vehicle you buy. And you know what? I think that metallic graphite really finishes the vehicle off. All you need to do really is, if you run in, I don't know, blue or yellow or what, just change the stripe. Happy days. So, to recap, it's a 2016 on a 16 registration, Mercedes-Benz Atego 1524L, Unvi Touring GT, 37 seat, executive midi coach.